Hello everyone. Welcome to English Upgrade, where you're about to begin a fresh, exciting, and maybe a little surprising journey to learn English. The book you're holding is called How to Learn English in Your Sleep. Sounds strange, right? But imagine waking up each morning with a few more English words in your mind, feeling more familiar with English sounds, and slowly becoming more confident, all while you were asleep. Learning English while you sleep, a surprising but promising idea. We all know that learning English isn't always easy. After long, tiring days, you might not have the energy to practice listening, speaking, or reviewing grammar. But what if your brain could keep learning, even while you rest? That's the idea behind this book. You're going to explore a modern and fascinating method called sleep learning, based on real science and simple, effective techniques. On my YouTube channel, English Upgrade, I always share practical, easy-to-follow ways to help you understand and speak English better. I believe learning should be fun, simple, and a part of your daily life. This book follows the same spirit. It's not just about teaching you the concept of sleep learning. It's a step-by-step guide that shows you how to use your sleeping time to boost your English in a smart and gentle way. What will you learn from this book? What sleep learning really is and how your brain works during sleep. Real scientific research behind nighttime language learning. How to choose the right kind of English audio to listen to while you sleep. A simple evening routine to help your brain remember faster. A practical plan to combine nighttime learning with daytime speaking. Most importantly, you'll learn how to avoid common mistakes and create your own English night garden, where your brain quietly grows new words, sounds, and ideas while you sleep. Sleep learning is not magic, but it's a secret tool with real power. No, you won't become fluent overnight. But if you plant a few language seeds each night, they will grow quietly. And step by step, you will understand English more easily, improve your pronunciation, and speak with more confidence. Who is this book for? Beginners who need motivation and a gentle way to learn. Intermediate learners looking for new, supportive techniques. Busy people who want to make the most of their nights. I know you have a desire to learn English, and I truly believe that your brain is more powerful than you think. It can keep learning even while you sleep. This is where your journey begins, with open eyes, an eager heart, and deep sleep every night. Let's explore the quiet magic of learning in your sleep, together. Chapter 1. The Strange Idea: Learning While You Sleep. Have you ever wished you could close your eyes at night and wake up knowing more English? Imagine falling asleep, and while your body rests, your brain quietly absorbs new words, phrases, or even whole conversations. It sounds like something from a science fiction movie. Yet the idea of learning while you sleep has fascinated people for many years. It may seem strange at first, even unbelievable, but the truth is, the idea is not new. People have been curious about sleep learning for over a century. While the science is still developing, the question remains, can we really use our sleep time to learn something new? The concept of sleep learning, also called hypnopedia, goes back to the early 1900s. Back then, some scientists believed that the brain never truly shuts down during sleep. If it is still working, they thought, maybe it can continue to receive and remember information. These early experiments weren't always successful, and some of them were quite strange. In fact, for many years, most scientists thought sleep learning was nothing more than a dream, a fun idea, but not something that really worked. In the 1950s, sleep learning even became a popular topic in movies and books, often showing people waking up fluent in a new language after one night of audio lessons. These stories were exciting but unrealistic. Still, they planted a seed of curiosity in the minds of many. Why has this idea captured so much attention? One reason is time. Learning a new language takes many hours of study and practice. People are always looking for ways to learn faster or more easily. So, the thought of learning while you sleep, using time that is usually lost, is very appealing. After all, we spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping. If that time could be used for learning, it would be like discovering hidden hours in the day. It's a dream that promises more knowledge without extra effort. Another reason people are drawn to sleep learning is the power of the human brain. We already know that sleep is important for memory. When you learn something during the day, your brain reviews and organizes the information while you sleep. This process helps you remember better the next day. So, it makes sense to wonder, what if we gave the brain more information to work with during sleep? Could it absorb new knowledge more effectively? These questions have led modern scientists to look deeper into what the brain actually does during sleep, and the results are both fascinating and surprising. Still, it's important to know that sleep learning doesn't work like magic. You won't go to bed not knowing English and wake up speaking it fluently. That's not how the brain works. What scientists are finding is that certain types of learning might be possible during sleep, especially things like vocabulary or short phrases. This doesn't mean sleep will replace your study time, but it might support and strengthen what you learn during the day. In other words, sleep learning could become a powerful tool, not a replacement, but a helper in your learning journey. In many ways, the idea of sleep learning challenges how we think about education. We usually imagine learning as something active, reading a book, listening to a teacher, or practicing speaking. Sleep learning, by contrast, is passive. You are not aware of it, you are not trying to learn. This makes some people uncomfortable, or even skeptical. Can you really learn without effort? Most of us were taught that success only comes from hard work and focus. That's why sleep learning still seems strange to many people. It goes against our usual beliefs about how learning happens. But strange ideas often lead to new discoveries. Think about the airplane. At one time, the idea of flying was considered impossible. People said, if humans were meant to fly, they would have wings. Yet today, flying is a normal part of life. The same may be true for sleep learning. Right now, it still feels like a strange dream. But as we learn more about the brain and how sleep works, it may become part of our everyday learning tools. What seems strange today might be normal tomorrow. Today, many language learners are already experimenting with sleep learning. They play English audio while they sleep. Words, sentences, or even whole conversations. They report that the words sound more familiar the next day. Some say they remember better or feel more confident. These are not scientific results, but they show how interested people are in this method. Whether it fully works or not, it shows one important thing. Learners are creative and always looking for ways to improve. So, is sleep learning real? Can it help you learn English while you rest? The answer is not simple. There is no magic formula, and it will not replace your daytime learning. But, as we will see in the next chapters, the brain is more active during sleep than most people think. With the right methods and realistic expectations, sleep learning could become part of a smart and balanced study routine. In this book, we will explore how this strange idea, learning while you sleep, is not just a fantasy. We will look at real science, practical tips, and thoughtful advice to help you understand how your brain works during sleep, and how you might use that time more wisely. You may never become fluent overnight, but you might be surprised at how much your sleeping brain can help you on your English learning journey. Chapter 2. What happens to the brain during sleep? When we close our eyes and drift off to sleep, it may feel like everything shuts down. Our bodies lie still, the world fades away, and we enter a quiet, peaceful state. But inside our heads, something amazing is happening. While we rest, our brains become incredibly active. In fact, in some stages of sleep, the brain is almost as busy as when we are awake. This chapter explores what happens inside the brain during sleep, why those changes are important, and how they might help us learn better even while we sleep. The stages of sleep. Sleep is not just one long deep rest. It's made up of different stages, and each stage plays a unique role. Scientists usually divide sleep into two main types: REM sleep, rapid eye movement, non-REM sleep. Non-REM sleep has 3 stages, from light sleep to deep sleep. Together, these stages make up a sleep cycle that repeats every 90 minutes throughout the night. Let's look at the stages more closely. Stage 1. Very light sleep. You're just beginning to fall asleep, and it's easy to wake up. Stage 2. A bit deeper. Your body temperature drops, your heart rate slows, and your brain starts to create special waves. Stage 3. Deep sleep. Your brain makes slow, powerful waves. This is the time when your body repairs itself, and your brain clears out useless information like cleaning up the desk after a busy day. Then comes REM sleep, which is very different. In this stage, your eyes move quickly under your eyelids, and your brain becomes more active again. REM is when we usually dream, but dreams are not the only thing happening. Your brain is also sorting, organizing, strengthening memories. It reviews what you've learned during the day and decides what to keep and what to forget. This is very important for learning. Without REM sleep, it's much harder to remember new information. Memory consolidation. Scientists call this process memory consolidation. It means turning short-term memories, things you just learned, into long-term knowledge you can use later. If you learned a new English word in the afternoon, your brain will review it during the night. If it thinks the word is useful, it will move it into deeper memory. That's why a good night's sleep is so important after studying. Sleep is like a second study session, one where the brain does all the work without you even trying. How the brain chooses what to remember. But how does the brain know what to remember? This is a big question in neuroscience. One idea is that the brain pays attention to what you focus on during the day. If you hear a word many times or try hard to understand it, your brain marks it as important. Then during sleep, it brings that memory back and strengthens it. The more often this happens, the more likely you are to remember it in the future. That's why repeating things and reviewing before bed can be helpful. You are giving your brain a clear signal. This matters. Can the brain learn while you sleep? Recent research has shown even more exciting things. Some studies found that if you hear words during certain stages of sleep, especially light sleep or early REM, your brain may react to them. It won't fully wake up, but it might listen and connect the sound to earlier memories. This is the basic idea behind sleep learning. The brain is not completely closed during sleep. In some moments, it may still hear and process information, especially if that information is familiar or important. Of course, the brain is not a tape recorder. It can't memorize full lessons or understand grammar rules while you sleep, but it can do small helpful things like reinforcing a word you already learned, making a sound more familiar. That's why sleep learning often focuses on vocabulary. It's easier for the brain to strengthen simple information than to build new complex ideas during rest. Problem solving during sleep. Another interesting part of sleep is how it helps the brain solve problems. Sometimes, when you wake up, you suddenly understand something that confused you the day before. That's because the brain keeps working quietly while you rest. It connects ideas, builds links between memories, and sometimes finds solutions you didn't see before. For language learners, this might mean better understanding, clearer pronunciation, more confidence with words you've been practicing. Sleep and emotion. Sleep is also important for emotional health. When you're tired or stressed, it's harder to learn. Good sleep helps you stay calm, focused, and motivated. If you're serious about learning English or anything else, then sleep is not a waste of time. It's part of your study plan. Rest is not the opposite of work. It's the partner of learning. Final thoughts. So, what happens to the brain during sleep? It rests, yes, but it also works in quiet, powerful ways. It protects your memories, clears away mental noise, and helps you grow. It's a time of healing, organizing, and even discovering. The more we learn about sleep, the more we understand how valuable it is for the learning process. In the next chapter, we'll look at real scientific experiments that tested sleep learning. Some of the results may surprise you. But for now, remember this: your brain doesn't stop when you sleep. It shifts into a different kind of learning mode. Understanding this can help you use your sleep time more wisely and take your English learning to the next level. Chapter 3: The Science of Sleep Learning. Real experiments. Now that we understand what happens to the brain during sleep, it's time to look at what science says about sleep learning. For many years, people have wondered if it's truly possible to learn something new while sleeping. Can the brain really pick up new information without us being awake? Is it just a dream, or can science prove that sleep learning works? In this chapter, we'll explore real studies and experiments that have tested this idea. While the results are not magic, they are certainly interesting, and they give us clues on how sleep might support learning, especially when it comes to languages like English. Early studies. One of the earliest known studies on sleep learning took place in the 1950s. Researchers played recordings of vocabulary words to sleeping participants and tested them when they woke up. At that time, the results were not very strong. People didn't remember much. For many years, this led scientists to believe that sleep learning didn't work. They thought the brain was to shut off during sleep to process new information. New technology, new discoveries, but as scientific tools improved, so did our understanding of the brain. In the 2000s, scientists began using EEG electroencephalography to measure brain waves during sleep. With this technology, researchers noticed something interesting. During certain light stages of sleep, the brain could still respond to sounds. Not only that, but the brain seemed to recognize familiar words or sounds it had heard before. This opened the door to new experiments. The 2012 Weizmann Institute study Israel. In this experiment, researchers wanted to see if people could learn associations while sleeping. They played a sound, a tone followed by a smell, either pleasant like flowers or unpleasant like rotten eggs. This showed the brain can form simple connections during sleep, even without conscious awareness. The 2014 study is Switzerland. In this research, German-speaking participants studied Dutch vocabulary before bed. Then, while they were in deep sleep, half of the group heard the Dutch words again through headphones, the other half slept in silence. The next morning, the group that had listened to the words remembered more vocabulary than the silent group. The results suggested that hearing words during sleep can strengthen what you already studied. It doesn't mean you can learn a whole new language in your sleep, but your brain might practice while you rest. The 2015 study, word pairs. In another study, participants learned word pairs, for example, house, maison, before sleeping. While they slept, only some pairs were played quietly in the background. The next morning, they remembered the played pairs much better than the silent ones. Once again, this shows that the sleeping brain is not shut down. It's listening, reviewing, and reinforcing what it already knows. French study, pronunciation. This study focused on pronunciation. Participants practiced certain sounds in a new language during the day, then listened to those sounds again during REM sleep. After sleep, their pronunciation improved slightly. The improvements weren't huge, but they were real. It showed that sleep may help fine-tune speech and hearing. What do these studies tell us? Sleep learning is real, but limited. You cannot learn complex grammar, full lessons, or deep ideas while asleep. The brain needs your attention for complex topics. Sleep is great for reinforcing what you already studied. If you learn something during the day, your brain can review and strengthen it at night, especially if the material is played quietly during sleep. Timing matters. Most sleep learning happens during light sleep or soul wave sleep. Playing audio at the wrong time might wake you up or do nothing. That's why some modern apps try to track your sleep and play audio at the right moment. Sleep learning is one piece of the puzzle. You still need to study when awake. Speak and practice with others. Stay motivated. But adding sleep learning to your routine can be a smart way to get more from your time, especially for learning vocabulary, sounds, or simple phrases. From fantasy to possibility, science has moved sleep learning from fantasy to possibility. It's not magic, but it is real. The brain is more powerful than we once believed. And if we understand how it works even during rest, we can use that power to become better learners, even while we sleep. In the next chapter, we'll look more closely at what kinds of information are easier to learn in your sleep, and what kinds are not. This will help you focus your efforts and use your sleep learning time in the smartest way possible. Chapter 4. What you can and can't learn in your sleep. Learning while you sleep sounds almost magical. You lie in bed, press play on an English audio file, and wake up the next morning speaking better English. But is it really that simple? The truth is both fascinating and realistic. Yes, your brain can absorb some information during sleep, but no, it can't do everything. Just like there are limits to what you can learn in one day, there are limits to what your sleeping brain can handle. In this chapter, we will explore what types of learning are possible during sleep and which ones require your full attention while awake. What you can learn in your sleep. One of the best examples is vocabulary. Several studies show that if you review English vocabulary before going to sleep, and then listen to those same words during sleep, your brain can remember them better. For example, if you study the word apple and its meaning during the day, then hear it softly repeated during sleep, your memory for that word may become stronger. This works because your brain creates connections between sounds and meanings. These are called simple associations, and your brain can work on them even when you're not fully awake. Another thing your brain can do is strengthen what you already know. Sleep is a time when your brain organizes information, connects ideas, stores important memories. If you practiced English listening or speaking before sleep, your brain may replay those experiences while you rest. This helps you remember more clearly the next day. It's like watering a plant after planting the seed. Sleep learning works best with repetition, familiar sounds. So, if you're learning greetings or common phrases, hearing them again while sleeping can help you. Remember, use them more confidently. This is especially helpful for pronunciation or fluency. What you can't learn in your sleep. This part is just as important. Many people expect too much from sleep learning and end up disappointed. The biggest limit is your brain cannot learn completely new or complex ideas while you sleep. For example, you can't learn English grammar rules just by hearing them while asleep. Grammar needs understanding, examples, practice. Your sleeping brain is not built for that kind of active thinking. You also can't solve problems while asleep. Understanding why a sentence uses the past perfect or how to form a question in the present continuous requires logic and decision-making, which don't happen during sleep. You may dream, but dreaming is not the same as reasoning or understanding. Another limitation: you can't learn motor skills during sleep. That means writing better, typing faster, speaking clearly. These need muscle movement, correction, practice. For example, learning how to pronounce th in English requires mouth and tongue practice, not just hearing it while sleeping. Also, you can't learn something completely new in your sleep. If you hear words from a language you've never studied, your brain might hear the sounds, but won't understand or remember them. Sleep learning is not a good way to start learning, but it is very useful for reviewing and reinforcing what you already studied. Important limits to remember. It's like building a house. Sleep can paint the walls, but it can't lay the foundation. Also, too much information can be harmful. Playing long, complicated lessons during sleep might interrupt your rest or do nothing at all. Sleep learning works best when the input is short, clear, gentle. Use short vocabulary lists, slow speech, relaxing English phrases. Your brain can't handle a full lesson or story while resting. Keeping it simple is the key. Summary: what your brain can learn during sleep. Vocabulary you've already studied, simple word and sound associations, familiar phrases and pronunciation, emotional or motivational phrases, strengthening daytime learning. What your brain can't learn during sleep. New and complex grammar rules, problem solving or decision making, physical or speaking skills that need practice, completely new information you haven't seen before, large or complicated lessons. Final thought: knowing these things helps you use sleep learning wisely. It is not a magic trick, but it is a real tool. If used with realistic expectations, sleep learning can support your language journey. Think of it as a helper, not a teacher. Learn during the day, review gently during sleep. Together, this process makes learning more natural and more effective. In the next chapter, we will learn how to prepare your brain before going to bed. What you do before sleep matters just as much as what you listen to during sleep. A calm mind, a simple routine, and the right materials can make your sleep learning even more powerful. Chapter 5: How to prepare your brain before sleeping. Sleep learning can be powerful, but it doesn't work by magic. You can't just press play on an English audio and expect your brain to remember everything. The truth is, what you do before you sleep is just as important as what you listen to while you sleep. Preparing your brain for sleep learning is like preparing soil before planting seeds. If the soil is dry and full of rocks, seeds won't grow. But if it's soft, rich, and ready, even small seeds can take root and bloom. In the same way, your brain needs a calm, focused environment to make the most of sleep learning. 1. Clear your mind. Throughout the day, your brain is busy with thoughts, worries, plans, emotions. If you go to bed full of stress, it's hard for your brain to focus on learning. That's why relaxing your mind is so important. Try a short breathing exercise before bed. Sit quietly, close your eyes. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds, repeat for a few minutes. This signals your brain to slow down. It tells your body it's time to rest. A calm mind is more open to new information, even during sleep. 2. Create a comfortable sleep environment. Turn off bright lights and noisy devices. Keep your room cool and dark. Avoid using your phone right before bed, especially for scrolling or fast videos. The bright light and fast images confuse your brain and make it harder to relax. Instead, choose a quiet activity, reading a short English paragraph, writing a journal entry, reviewing flashcards. This gentle review reminds your brain, this is what I want to remember tonight. 3. Do a short pre-sleep review 5 to 10 minutes. Just a few minutes of focused study can make a big difference. You can listen to a short vocabulary list, read English phrases out loud, go over flashcards. Choose meaningful words, phrases you'll use the next day, or words you struggled with. Keep it short and simple. The goal is not to learn something new, but to remind your brain what's important. This review sets the stage for the night's sleep learning. 4. Use positive self-talk before bed. What you think and say before sleep matters. If you say, I can't learn English, it's too hard, your brain hears and believes that message. But if you say, I'm getting better every day, your brain hears that too. Your thoughts create your mindset. A positive thought before sleep is like a soft voice guiding your brain during the night. Even saying, tonight I will remember what I learned, can help. It builds belief and focus, which are powerful tools for learning. 5. Listen to relaxing English before bed, even before lying down. Listen to a slow English story, a gentle podcast, a motivational message in English. Choose a calm voice, soft background music, clear pronunciation. Avoid fast conversations, loud music, difficult grammar lessons. Let the sounds guide you into a peaceful state. Your brain will begin to absorb the rhythm of English, even if you don't understand every word. Over time, your listening and speaking skills improve. 6. Build a sleep routine with English. Going to bed at the same time each night helps your brain form a natural rhythm. If your bedtime is always changing, your brain doesn't know when it's time to rest and learn. Create a short bedtime ritual that includes English. Brush your teeth while listening to English. Say one English sentence in the mirror before bed. Avoid heavy meals, caffeine, too much sugar. These make your body restless and your brain too active to focus. 7. Keep it simple and gentle. Sleep learning is not about quantity, it's about gentle repetition. Each night, choose just a few phrases, vocabulary words, repeat them out loud before bed. Then play them softly while you sleep. Over time, this small effort builds up like water filling a cup. 8. Trust the process. Learning takes time, and sleep learning is no different. You may not see results immediately, but if you follow a peaceful bedtime routine, review your English gently, listen with purpose, your brain will respond. Each night is a new chance to grow. You're not just learning while you sleep. You're building a daily habit of care, focus, belief in yourself. Conclusion: preparing your brain before sleep is simple, but powerful. It takes just a few quiet minutes and the right mindset. Those few minutes can make your night more restful and your English learning more effective. Sleep becomes more than rest, it becomes part of your learning journey. In the next chapter, we'll explore exactly what to listen to while sleeping. Choosing the right audio materials can make a big difference in your results. Let's find out how to create a perfect night playlist for your English dreams.
Chapter 6. What to listen to while sleeping.
Audio guide. Now that your brain is ready for sleep learning, the next important step is choosing what to listen to while you sleep. Not all audio is helpful, some can even interrupt your rest. The right kind of audio can gently support your learning without waking you up or confusing your mind. Keep it simple. Your brain is not fully awake during sleep, so it can't handle complex grammar, fast conversations, difficult lessons. Instead, choose audio that repeats basic words, short phrases, simple sentences. For example, English vocabulary lists with clear pronunciation. Beginner dialogues, positive affirmations in English. These short, repeated messages are easier for your sleeping brain to absorb. You don't need something new every night. Repeating the same content for several nights is better for memory.
Recommended content types. 1. Vocabulary audio. This is one of the best types of content for sleep learning. You can use recordings that say English word native translation repetition. Example: apple, manzana. Apple, manzana. These short word pairs help form connections between languages. Pick topics that are useful and relevant to you: food, travel, common verbs, daily routines. 2. Short dialogues. These are simple conversations, such as, "Hello, how are you?" "I'm good, thank you." "And you?" "I'm fine too." They help you get used to natural English speech patterns. Build familiarity with real dialogue. Make sure the voices are slow, clear. Avoid fast speech, strong accents, or slang. 3. Positive affirmations. These are short, encouraging sentences like, "I enjoy learning English." "My English is getting better every day." "I feel confident when I speak." Even if you don't hear them fully, your brain absorbs the tone and rhythm, helping you wake up with more motivation and less fear of mistakes. Best format for sleep audio. The best sleep audio should be slow, repetitive, soft. Choose recordings with a calm, even voice, male or female, your preference. No loud music, no sound effects, and no sudden volume changes. Background music is okay if it's soft and soothing, e.g., gentle piano, nature sounds. Avoid emotional drama, action-packed content, anything that excites the brain. Length and timing. 1 to 2 hours is enough. After that, your brain enters deep sleep stages where learning is less active. Use timer or sleep mode to stop playback after a set time. Apps or MP3s with high-quality sound. Create a sleep learning playlist. Structure your playlist. Start with vocabulary. Move to short dialogues. End with affirmations. You can also record your own voice saying key phrases. Listening to your own voice adds personal meaning and increases retention. Headphones or speakers. Many people prefer sleep headphones or headbands with built-in speakers. They're comfortable and let you listen without waking others. If you don't like sleeping with headphones, use a small bedside speaker. Keep the volume low and steady. Loud sounds will wake you up or lower sleep quality. Optimize your listening environment. Turn off all other noise. Make sure your device doesn't vibrate, beep, or show bright lights. Put your phone on airplane mode to avoid notifications. Let this be a quiet, focused time for your brain to absorb English gently and naturally. Final reminders. The goal of sleep learning is not to replace active study, but to support your learning in a relaxed, passive way. With the right audio, played the right way, you help your brain build stronger English connections while you rest. You may not notice big results after one night, but over time, these small repeated sessions will make English feel more natural and familiar. Coming next. In the next chapter, we'll build a complete sleep learning routine. You'll get a step-by-step plan to apply everything you've learned. Let's turn your sleep into your secret English classroom.
Chapter 7. Real Sleep Learning Routine. A Sample Plan. By now, you understand how sleep affects the brain, what kinds of information you can learn, what types of audio to listen to at night. But how do you actually put it all together? In this chapter, we will build a simple, practical routine that you can follow every day. This routine will help you use your sleep time more effectively and turn it into a quiet, powerful tool for learning English. A mindset reminder: sleep learning works best when it supports your regular English practice. This means you should still spend time reading, speaking, or listening to English during the day. Treat sleep learning as a helper, not a replacement. It helps your brain review and remember things you've already studied. A sample daily sleep learning routine. You don't need to follow every step perfectly. The goal is to create a habit that fits your life, is easy to repeat, feels relaxing. Step 1. Evening review. 20 to 30 minutes before bed. Take 15 to 20 minutes to review English you want to remember. Examples: a short vocabulary list, grammar examples, or a small dialogue. Write them down, read aloud, or listen once or twice. It's like planting the seeds of learning so your brain can water them while you sleep. Step 2. Prepare your environment. 10 minutes before bed. Ensure your bedroom is quiet, dark, and comfortable. Set your audio player, phone, speaker, or sleep headphones. Choose a playlist with vocabulary pairs, simple phrases, positive affirmations. Set a timer to play for 1 to 2 hours. This covers the most learning-friendly stage of sleep and prevents interruptions during deep sleep. Step 3. Relax your body and mind. 5 minutes before bed. Sit or lie down. Take a few deep breaths. Think about the English words, phrases you review. Say something positive like, "I'm learning English every day even while I sleep." This directs your brain's focus as you enter sleep. Step 4. Play your audio and sleep. Press play, close your eyes, and relax. Don't try to understand everything. Let the English flow gently into your mind. A well-chosen audio file helps you sleep deeply. Supports memory without effort. You may even dream in English. Wake up with new words in mind. That's a good sign. Step 5. Morning activation. 10 to 15 minutes after waking. After waking up, spend a few minutes reviewing what you heard. Look at your notes or listen to the same audio again, this time fully awake. This reinforces long-term memory. Yes, this is important. Let's remember it. Sample sleep learning schedule. Time: 9:30 p.m. Action: start evening review. Read or listen. Time: 9:50 p.m. Action: prepare your space. Set audio. Time: 10 p.m. Action: begin sleep with soft English audio. Time: 6:30 a.m. Action: wake up, stretch and review again. Over time, you will notice words feel more familiar. Phrases come out more easily, you gain confidence and fluency. Consistency matters more than perfection. Your brain loves patterns. The more predictable your routine, the more your brain can optimize learning. Extra tips to strengthen your routine. Choose a theme each week, for example, food, greetings, travel. Repeat the same audio every night for stronger memory. Avoid caffeine, heavy meals, phone screens before bed. If tired or busy, just do a shorter version, even 5 minutes helps. Keep a notebook near your bed. Write down any words, dreams, or phrases you remember. It makes your progress visible and motivating. Final words of encouragement. Sleep learning is not magic, but when used consistently and wisely, it becomes a gentle, effective, and sustainable part of your English learning journey. You're not just using more hours in the day, you're giving your brain a peaceful space to grow. In the next chapter, we'll look at the most common mistakes people make with sleep learning, so you can avoid them and stay on the right path. Chapter 8. Common mistakes in sleep learning. Sleep learning sounds like a dream come true. Who wouldn't want to learn English while resting? But like any method, it has its limits and its traps. Many people get excited about the idea and try it without knowing how it really works. As a result, they make mistakes that slow their progress or cause frustration. Mistake 1. Expecting fast or magical results. Some people believe that after just one night of listening to English, they will wake up speaking fluently. That's not how the brain works. Sleep learning is not a shortcut to skip practice. It only supports what you learn while awake. It does not replace it. If you expect too much too soon, you might feel disappointed and give up before seeing any real progress. Sleep learning is like watering a plant. It takes time, care, and patience. Mistake 2. Playing audio all night long. More hours equals more learning. Not exactly. Playing audio during deep sleep can disturb your rest. Your brain needs quiet periods to recharge and clean itself. Constant audio may lead to poor sleep quality, strange dreams, tiredness the next day. The best method is to play audio for the first 1 to 2 hours, when your brain is in light sleep and most open to sound. Mistake 3. Using the wrong kind of audio. Not all English recordings are useful for sleep. Movies, fast conversations, or loud music are too complex, too distracting. Sleep learning works best with simple vocabulary, basic phrases, gentle affirmations. Goal: give your brain calm, clear input it can absorb and repeat. Mistake 4. Skipping pre-sleep review. Some learners press play and fall asleep without reviewing what they're going to hear. But your brain remembers better when it has already seen or heard the material while awake. Spend 10 to 20 minutes before bed to read, listen, say aloud the same material. This tells your brain, this is important. Without this step, the audio feels random and less effective. Mistake 5. Changing the material too often. Getting bored and switching topics every night equals weak learning. The brain needs repetition to remember well. Changing topics too often breaks the learning cycle. Choose one theme per week, e.g., common greetings, travel phrases, or food vocabulary. Use the same audio each night for stronger results. Mistake 6. Using low-quality recordings. If the audio is too quiet, too loud, unclear pronunciation, noisy background music, your brain will have a hard time processing it. Use high-quality English audio with slow, clear speech, pauses between phrases, calm tone. The ideal sound, soft, clear English like gentle rain on a sponge. Mistake 7. Ignoring the sleep environment. If your room is noisy, too hot or cold, bright or uncomfortable, your sleep suffers, and so does your learning. Create a peaceful, cozy environment. Turn off bright lights. Lower room temperature. Remove distractions. Use sleep-friendly headphones or a speaker. Your brain and body both need comfort to learn well. Mistake 8. No active practice during the day. If you only listen at night and never speak, read, write English during the day, progress will be very slow. Your brain learns best when it sees the same words in multiple ways. Even if you're busy, spend 15 to 30 minutes a day using English actively. Daytime study plus nighttime review equals stronger results. Mistake 9. Giving up too early. Many people quit too soon because they don't see quick results. Sleep learning builds slowly. You might notice subtle effects. Remember words more easily. Feel more confident when speaking. Stick with the routine for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Keep a notebook and track new words or thoughts you remember. You'll be surprised how much your brain can learn, even while you rest. To sum up, sleep learning is powerful, but only if used wisely. Don't expect instant results. Overload your brain. Skip your evening review. Switch topics too often. Ignore your sleep setup. Avoid daytime practice. Quit too early. Do use simple, calm audio. Review before bed. Repeat each night. Create a peaceful sleep space. Combine with daily English use. Be patient and consistent. When done correctly, sleep learning becomes a quiet and peaceful part of your English journey, one that helps you grow even in your dreams. Chapter 9. Can it help you speak better? The real benefit. Many English learners dream of speaking smoothly and confidently. They want a method that makes learning easier and faster. Sleep learning sounds like a miracle. Imagine going to bed and waking up with better English. But can listening to English while you sleep really improve your speaking? Understand the reality first. Sleep learning alone will not suddenly make you fluent. It will not teach you how to form complex sentences or have deep conversations. Speaking is an active skill. You need to move your mouth, practice sounds, speak out loud. How sleep learning supports speaking? While it won't make you fluent, it can still be a very helpful tool. Think of it as a support system, something that helps your brain become more familiar with English while you rest. Benefit 1. Vocabulary recall. When you hear the same words and phrases repeatedly while sleeping, your brain gets used to the sound, the meaning. This makes it easier to recall the words during the day. Example: if you often hear "Can I help you?" while sleeping, your brain starts to recognize it as a common English expression. Later, it may come to you more quickly during a real conversation. Benefit 2. Recognizing sentence patterns. Language is full of patterns. Asking questions, giving directions, talking about the past. By listening to simple sentences repeatedly, your brain notices how words are arranged. You begin to form similar sentences naturally, even without consciously knowing grammar rules. Benefit 3. Better listening and pronunciation awareness. Listening to clear, slow English while sleeping gives your brain more exposure to correct sounds, familiarity with pronunciation. This won't instantly fix your pronunciation, but it gives you a model to copy later during the day. Your ears are trained to recognize what's right, what sounds natural, which helps you repeat more accurately. Benefit 4. Strengthening the sound-meaning link. Some researchers believe sleep learning strengthens the connection between sound and meaning. When you hear a word like apple, your brain connects the sound to the image of a real apple. This makes your speaking more automatic, fluid. You don't stop to translate in your head. The words come naturally, as part of your thinking. What sleep learning can't do alone. Sleep learning does not improve fluency by itself. To speak fluently, you need muscle memory, practice for your mouth, tongue, and lips. Just listening, even for hours, won't train your mouth. You still need to speak actively during the day. Sleep prepares your brain. Day practice prepares your mouth. Both are essential. How to combine sleep learning plus speaking practice. Step 1. Focus on one topic at a time, e.g., ordering food, asking for directions, greetings. Step 2. Listen to related phrases while you sleep. Practice saying them out loud during the day. Record yourself, compare with the original, repeat until it feels natural. The words come easier because you've already heard them many times while sleeping. Use short dialogues or common questions. Include these in your sleep playlist. What would you like to order? How are you today? These patterns train your brain to expect what comes next. Respond more smoothly in real life. Result: less stress, more confidence. Shadowing before sleep. Shadowing equals listening and speaking at the same time. Do this 10 to 15 minutes before bed. Helps your brain lock in the sounds. Reinforces the exact material you'll hear again during sleep. This creates a powerful loop. Hear gives speak gives sleep gives repeat gives internalize. The real benefit: sleep learning is not a magic trick, but it is a powerful background tool. It makes new words familiar, helps you feel confident, builds steady progress. You may not notice it instantly, but night after night, something inside you grows. Final thought: so can sleep learning help you speak better? Yes, but only if you also speak while awake. Think of it as silent practice, mental conditioning, a foundation for your real-world speaking. Used wisely, sleep learning can turn your nights into powerful learning time, support your active practice during the day, help you speak with more ease and confidence over time. Chapter 10: Your English Night Garden. Final thoughts. You have now traveled through a fascinating journey about learning English while you sleep. From the strange idea that it could even be possible, to the science behind it, and the practical ways you can use this method. You have learned many important facts. Sleep learning is not magic, but it is a powerful tool that can help your English grow quietly every night, like a garden growing in the dark. In this final chapter, we will reflect on what you have discovered and encourage you to use sleep learning in a smart and balanced way. Learning takes more than sleep. First, remember that learning English while you sleep is not a quick fix. It is not a replacement for regular practice, but a helpful support. Just like a garden needs sunlight, water, and care, your English needs daily effort during the day. Sleep learning waters your brain quietly while you rest, but it cannot do all the work alone. The best results come when you combine daytime study speaking, reading, writing, with peaceful nighttime listening. When both parts work together, your English will grow stronger and more natural. Your brain loves to learn while you sleep. You also learned that sleep is a special time for your brain. During sleep, your brain processes memories, connects new and old knowledge. This means that the English you listen to before and during sleep can become easier to remember. That your brain needs the right kind of audio: simple, clear, slow, and repeated. Loud music, fast conversations, or complicated grammar do not work well at night. Think of your sleep as a quiet garden, where gentle seeds can grow best. How sleep learning helps. One of the most exciting things about sleep learning is how it helps with vocabulary, pronunciation. When you hear new words and phrases many times while resting, your brain becomes familiar with their sounds, their meanings. This makes speaking easier because your brain recognizes these words faster when you need them. Your ears are trained to listen for correct sounds, and your mouth follows more naturally when you practice during the day. Sleep learning builds a strong foundation for your English voice to grow. Know the limits. However, it's important to remember that sleep learning has limits. It cannot teach you complicated grammar rules, problem-solving skills, how to write essays. These require active study while you're awake. Also, your speaking muscles need daily training. Just hearing English at night will not help you speak fluently if you never speak aloud. Sleep learning works best as a quiet helper, a tool to make your brain more ready for English. You are the gardener who must do the main work. Be patient and stay consistent. Many people give up on sleep learning too soon because they don't see quick results. But like a real garden, language learning takes time and patience. You may not notice changes after 1 or 2 nights. The growth happens slowly, day by day, night by night. If you continue with care and regular practice, your English will improve in small but steady steps. Be kind to yourself, celebrate small wins, and trust the process. Your Night Garden, a simple sleep learning plan. To create your own successful sleep learning garden, choose easy, clear audio that matches your level. Review the material for a few minutes before sleeping. Play the audio softly for 1 to 2 hours after you fall asleep. Take care of your sleep environment so you rest well. Combine with daily English practice: speak, read, write, listen. With this balanced approach, your night garden will bloom beautifully. A final word of inspiration. Be inspired by the idea that your brain never stops learning even when you close your eyes. Sleep is not just rest. It is an opportunity, a time for your mind to grow, to prepare, and to connect the pieces of your language journey. You are planting seeds each night that will blossom in your waking hours. This is the true power of sleep learning. As you move forward in your English learning journey, remember your night garden, care for it with patience and gentle attention. Use sleep learning as your quiet helper, not your only teacher. Believe in yourself and in the amazing ability of your brain. The path to fluency is long, but every night brings new growth. Soon, you will find yourself speaking English with more ease and confidence, thanks to the silent work of your sleeping mind. Your English night garden is ready. Now, let it grow. Final thanks from the author. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found these tips about learning English while you sleep helpful and interesting. Remember, learning takes time, and sleep learning can be a great way to support your progress every day. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, like. Share it with your friends who want to improve their English too. And don't forget to subscribe to English Upgrade for more tips and lessons to help you speak English confidently. Sweet dreams and happy learning. See you in the next video.